The real one?
Baby.
The real one?
Yeah.
So she was on a show called Better Off.
Do you know some of your favorite celebrities do not have kids? While some cherish them, others think they could be a huge barrier to their career. Join us today as we review 25 celebrities who have decided never to have kids. Number 25. Mary J. Blige. The queen of hip-hop, rapper, actress, and entrepreneur, Mary Jane Blige, expressed her desire not to have children early on in life. In 2022, during an appearance on It's Daily Pop, she was asked if she regretted her stance on childbirth, and to that, she declared that she wasn't there yet. The reason for this decision was a claim to love her freedom without having to always tend to someone else. She expressed that her nieces and nephews were enough for her, as they have been evidence of how difficult raising kids could be. At the time, she was stepmother to her ex-husband, Kendu Isaac's 3 children. During an interview with Redbook, she declared she loved them so much. However, the union ended in 2018. Rather than spend time birthing children, she opted for the birth of lots of property, which is currently worth $20 million according to Celebrity Net Worth. So, while Mary is not a biological mother, she is a wonderful aunt and proud mother of properties. Number 24. Ashley Judd. The 57-year-old actress and activist, Ashley Judd, daughter of the late country music singer Naomi Judd, records her thoughts on having a family with life and style. In an interview with the Sunday Mail in 2006, she declared that it was unconscionable to breed with the number of impoverished children in other countries, starving to death. Furthermore, her 2011 memoirs, All That Is Bitter and Sweet, reaffirmed her position on childbearing. The actress revealed that her refusal to be a mother is part of her identity. She shared that this decision has been with her since she was at least 18 years old. She declared that making her babies was unnecessary when there were so many abandoned and orphaned children who required attention, love, and care. She also figured that it was selfish to pour resources into biological children when the same resources could be used to take care of children already here. However, while she might not have a biological child, she is a godmother to her ex-husband, Dario Franchitti's daughter, Sophia. This is not to say she has never taken in, but what did she do? The 3-time sexual assault survivor conceived during one of the incidents, and she shares her gratitude for how she was able to access a safe and legal abortion due to the status of her molester as a Kentuckian. She declared gratitude that she was able to abort the child because otherwise, she would have been required to co-parent with a molester. She declared, "So having safe access to abortion was personally important to me. And as I said earlier, democracy starts with the skin." Number 23. Renee Zellweger. The award-winning American actress explains how she related and connected deeply to being Bridget Jones in the movie Bridget Jones, Mad About the Boy. In an interview with US Weekly at the red carpet premiere of the movie, the actress, Renee Zellweger, who was 55 at the time, declared that the character felt real and that she could connect deeply with the character because of what she's been through. She noted how the character aimed to fall in love, have kids, and live happily ever after, a position with which she resonated but didn't quite agree. In 2008, she told Express that becoming a mother had never really been a priority for her, as she just takes each day as it comes. If things happened, then fine, but she just wanted to be independent and able to take care of herself. While she doesn't have any kids of her own, the actress says there are a lot of children in her life, 2 of which includes her boyfriend, Aunt Anstead's children, Amelie and Archie. Number 22. Lily Tomlin. The American actress, comedian, writer, singer, and producer is a happy-go-lucky individual who, while constantly happy for anyone who decides to tread the path of motherhood, has admitted that it is not for her. In an interview with Metro Weekly, she stated that she didn't want to, and is glad that she doesn't have any children because only God knows what she would have done with them, as she didn't have room to raise children. She stated an unwavering love for her career and that she would have had to give it up in large part, as she couldn't shortchange the child, as her reason. Tomlin Lily, who married Jane Wagner in 2013, expressed that while her partner could have been a good mom, she is glad they never went down that lane, as in her opinion, there are already too many people in the world. She reflected on her decision in a 2015 The Guardian interview. She stated that the current state of the world made her glad that she stuck to her guns, as she and her partner often reiterated that they were grateful they didn't have any children. In 2019, in an interview with Hiking with Kevin Nielsen, she stated how she had considered using a sperm donor to conceive before finally deciding against it. She further stated that it would have been a terrible mistake. Number 21. Allison Brie. The American actress, writer, and wife of Dave Franco has expressed zero plans to welcome human children with her husband anytime soon. The actress claims that having children did not fit into her life. During an interview with the UK Times in 2018, she stated, "I don't want to have kids. It's great because I don't worry about when I should get pregnant between seasons while we're shooting Glow, and I don't think about it every day." She frequently shares pictures of herself and her fur babies on Instagram, revealing that she brought them along even when she knew she would be away for a while due to her career. Number 20. Sarah Silverman. The American stand-up comedian, actress, and writer, Sarah Silverman, made a decision never to become a mother and has not in one day of her 54 years of existence expressed regret in her decision. In 2017, the superstar made it clear in a tweet that her decision stemmed from when she realized she had to decide between motherhood and living her fullest life through work, of which she chose the latter. She expressed disappointment that men usually didn't have to make this drastic decision, but a woman had to sacrifice to reach her full potential. In her monologue for her American special, I Love You America Special, she expressed that she loved kids, but loving them and having them are two different things, further stating that the thought paralyzes her often. However, this doesn't mean she doesn't care for kids. In an episode of WTF with Mark Maron's podcast in 2016, she revealed that her decision was sad for her because she loves and aches for kids and still feels a lot of pressure to procreate. However, she has taken a stance, loves her life even more, and agrees that one cannot have it all. She emphasizes that one really couldn't. Number 19. Sarah Paulson. The American actress Sarah Paulson is another among the many women who have given up the joy of motherhood for a thriving career. In 2018, she shared in an interview with Town & Country that she felt she wouldn't have been able to dedicate the necessary time to catering for her child. This belief in the difficulty of raising a child while handling a career is a childhood response to watching her mother be a working parent. She said, "I've always known what I wanted out of my professional life, and I didn't want to turn around and go, if I had only chosen to dedicate this time to me. It's selfish, but the word selfish gets a bad rap." This decision to focus on her work eventually paid off, as she is currently one of the biggest American actresses, having roles in prominent movies, such as American Horror Story and Ratchet. Number 18. Christina Hendricks. In her marriage to Jeffrey Arend, which began in 2009, the American actress and former model stated how they had both decided against having children. Some marriages refuse to go through the traditional hiatus of love, marriage, and children, and theirs was one of such, with both not wanting kids and enjoying the two-person household. She also expressed people's reactions to making her feel like she didn't know what she wanted for herself anytime she discussed not wanting to have kids. Some would say, "You say that now, but soon enough, your perspective will change." The actor's disposition hasn't changed since her divorce in 2019. Her remarriage with George Bianchini on the 20th of April, 2024, has done little to change that fact. Number 17. Dame Helen Mirren. The veteran actress, Dame Helen Mirren, who has decided against childbearing and parenthood, discussed her position with Vogue UK in 2013, where she says that she made her decision after watching a video in school. Despite making her stance on childbearing clear, she still had to answer several questions thrown her way by boring old men throughout her younger years. Though quite a rebuttal, her responses to their questions made them shy away from her. In an interview in 2016, Popcorn with Peter Tracers, she admits that her decision also stemmed partly from her decision to focus on her career. To this end, the decision paid off quite well. She couldn't quite fathom combining a career and children, as she felt she would eventually let the child down somehow. She admits that she kept pushing childbirth to the next year every year until there was almost no next year for children anymore, as she had hit menopause. Number 16. Porsche de Rossi and Ellen DeGeneres. Ellen DeGeneres, an American comedian, actress, television host, writer, and producer, and her wife, Australian-American retired actress Porsche de Rossi, are a couple who have agreed not to have kids. In her interview with Out, Porsche stated that she felt the pressure to have children once she hit her 30s, but she realized that having children wasn't just her thing. She also said neither party, including herself and Ellen, wanted to have kids. They described their relationship as a loving best friend relationship, which entailed herself, Ellen, and no babies, describing their life as blissful and happy. She also admitted to being under pressure, even from her mother, who was noted to have expressed her desire for both de Rossi and Ellen to have kids. However, standing true to her belief in not having children, the actor states that she feels like the whole of America, not just her mother, is disappointed in her decision. Number 15. Marisa Tomei. The iconic My Cousin Vinny actress, Marisa Tomei, is one busy actor who has expressed her lack of a burning desire to have kids or get married. In an interview with Manhattan Magazine in 2009, she told them that she is not that big a fan of marriage as an institution, and she does not know why women need to have children to be seen as complete human beings. A friend also told Closer Weekly that she had never really pursued marriage and is more than happy focusing on her career than trying to become a mom, which wasn't something that was a priority for her even in her 20s. Tomei is recorded as more of a workaholic and has never really wanted a traditional home life, living to the fullest by working around the clock and getting acting roles some actors would kill for. Her sacrifice has undoubtedly paid off, especially considering the number of awards she has received. Number 14. Kelsey Ballerini. The American singer, songwriter, and actress, Kelsey Ballerini, explained how her decision not to have children with her spouse ended her marriage to the country musician Morgan Evans. In a Call Her Daddy podcast of 2023, she said that while they had both agreed on having kids earlier, she changed her mind later on, and while he was ready, she couldn't give him something she wasn't ready for. She also mentioned how she had once considered freezing her eggs, but upon a dissent from Evans, she had opted for a divorce. She also clearly stated that either now or later, with this partner or not, she wasn't sure she was ready or would be ready to have any children. She further expressed a desire to focus on her career and build herself before thinking of kids, which led her to release a divorce EP, Rolling Up the Welcome Mat, where she sang about buying a house big enough for children and changing her stance on childbearing. The song streamed 18.63 million times in its first week, increasing her net worth. Number 13. Kelly Brook. The English actress and model, Kelly Brook, also expressed a desire not to have children. She disclosed to the famous magazine that she had to reflect on whether having kids was something she wanted to do, a question to which her response was no. She further reiterates the stigma inherent in making such a decision. She said, "I think there's a stigma attached to being child-free, and it can be unkind. It's not anyone else's business how you live your life." Number 12. Anna Kendrick. The American actress, Anna Kendrick, in her 2016 memoir, Scrappy Little Nobody, stated that she would always feel that children aren't for her. Also, she told The Guardian that she doesn't ever think about having kids and explained her position on the subject using an allusion to a cat. She said, "I thought I'd have an easier time falling asleep with the weight of a cat on me, but I'm not responsible enough to own a cat. Someone should make a robot cat that does all the purring and the kneading." And then I was like, wait, I'm not even up to the cat lady part. Why would anyone trust me with a kid? She often refers to herself as the childless cat lady. She admits that hearing discussions of overbearing men discuss kids like a woman's responsibility has always succeeded in making her uncomfortable. Number 11. Patricia Clarkson. The American actress, Patricia Clarkson, has been open about not wanting to have kids. In an iHeart Podcast Tables episode, she explained that she chose her career over work, as raising kids required much sacrifice. She said, "I had a window to have a child, but at the end of the day, I loved working, and I grew up with great parents who sacrificed everything for me." And you have to be committed to having children. You have to be a great parent, and I was afraid I couldn't be. Number 10. Leonardo DiCaprio. The actor, whose stance on marriage and relationships has changed over the years, noted in an interview with Germany's OK magazine in 2010 that his biological clock wasn't ticking yet. However, The American actor Leonardo DiCaprio revealed in 2016 that he had no plans to welcome children due to his growing concerns regarding environmental impact. During an interview with Rolling Stone magazine on whether he would ever like to start a family, he responded, "Do you mean do I want to bring children into a world like this? If it happens, it happens. I'd prefer not to get into specifics about it because then it becomes misquoted. But yeah, I don't know. To articulate how I feel about it is just going to be misunderstood." Despite his active love life with top supermodels like Naomi Campbell, Blake Lively, Gisele Bündchen, Camilla Morrone, and Gigi Hadid, his brand, Bachelor of Hollywood, seems to be living up to its name. Number 9. Ena Garton. The American television cook and author Ena Garton, in an interview with Hoda Kotb, explained how her childhood led her and her husband not to have kids. Having shared her dream of being the traditional wife and mother after marriage, her 20s were her definitive years as she felt a kind of resistance towards childbearing due to her upbringing. She had never thought other people's lives differed because of her experience. In her memoir, Be Ready When the Luck Happens, there is a detailed explanation of her life, childhood, and tumultuous relationship with her parents. While her husband wanted to have kids someday, she kept putting it off until she was 25. She finally decided that she couldn't go through with birthing a child, a decision her husband stood by because of his desire to see her happy. When asked if she was still satisfied with the decision, she responded, "I just don't know if I would have been a good parent, and I love my life the way it is now, and I couldn't possibly have had it if I had children. I just couldn't have done it." Number 8. Christopher Walken. This American actor, Christopher Walken, who has featured in tons of blockbuster movies in his 50-year career, has never had any kids despite his being referred to as a wonderful man and actor by co-stars and celebrities. Married to Georgianne Walken for decades, the pair has not had any kids since the beginning of their marriage, and this has been a cause for media speculation. In an interview with The Guardian, he explained that this decision was based on their careers and financial situations. He said, "I'm sure many of the kids I knew as a child would have continued in show business, but they had kids of their own, had to do something dependable. I didn't, so I could get by even in periods of unemployment." He, however, happily played the role of father and uncle, and it doesn't stop him from expressing these roles clearly on the big screen. Hollywood Foreign Press's interview with him in 2020 saw him express his life as a happy one, stating, "I do like to work as much as I can because I don't have children, I don't have hobbies, I don't do anything else, and I'm glad I don't have children." However, when his brother's children come to his place, he is always happy to see their faces. He and his wife, although not parents of children, are co-parents of several cats and pets. Number 7. Stevie Nicks. The American singer and songwriter Stevie Nicks has voiced her desire not to have kids. She stated that she once desired to settle down and have kids, but this was her biggest regret. She gave up the desire for motherhood for her career and Fleetwood Mac. She felt like she had to choose between her career and her children, and her choice was her career. She also shared details of her abortion with Eagles singer Don Henley in the late 1970s, one that, if the pregnancy were kept, would have resulted in the abandonment of the child. She has since maintained her gratitude for the decision, stating she would not have been able to balance motherhood and Fleetwood Mac, especially after the release of her song, The Lighthouse. Though sad initially, her disposition changed over the years, and she was noted to have told In Style in 2002 that, "With kids, your focus changes. I don't want to go to PTA meetings." Number 6. Ricky Gervais and Jane Fallon. Ricky highlights 3 reasons for not having children in one of his comedy shows. There are already millions of children in the world. Kids are scroungers, and so fixated on themselves, and they are weak and vulnerable. On the other hand, Jane has had to deal with accusations of selfishness for their decision not to want kids, and how strangers stare with confusion when she lets them in on the fact that she doesn't have children. She, however, explains that she doesn't want kids because it doesn't feel like her. The couple had always been resolute about not having kids, with Jane describing their decision as complex but resolute. However, recently, Jane called their inability to have grandchildren a disastrous oversight, as she describes that period as payback time, a time where parents get rewarded for years of stress, trauma, and sleepless nights. She also planned on getting grandkids, as she didn't want to become the sad old person who gets written off for being unable to keep up with the times. Number 5. Chelsea Handler. The American multi-talented individual, Chelsea Handler, states that she has never seriously considered having children and admitted to her decision being in part due to watching what the death of her brother did to her parents and family. She admitted to enjoying taking care of other children like her nieces, nephews, and even children of men she had dated in the past, but expressed her certainty that she would never have been able to show up for her children in the same way. Chelsea has, however, made rounds on the news following her decision to take parenting classes, which she said was in a bid to understand the psychology of children, to do a better job at bonding and making them feel seen and heard when no one else believes in them. She also reiterates that while her ship has sailed in that she is now over 50 years of age, she doesn't hate kids, she just doesn't want one. Number 4. Jennifer Aniston. The American actress, Jennifer Joanna Aniston, revealed in Allure's December issue that the baby-making road was challenging for her as she had tried to get pregnant in her late 30s and 40s. The actress stated she wished someone had told her to freeze her eggs as she had gone through a series of treatments, such as IVF, a treatment she was fiercely protective about, and drinking several Chinese teas. The Friends alum revealed in an interview with Allure that the actress was among the hundreds of thousands who have undergone some form of assisted reproductive technology. She expressed zero regrets about having given her desire for biological birthing, and was relieved about the end of the procedures and the self-doubt that came with it due to her age. She also spoke about the harsh narratives around her not having children. Just after her divorce from actor Brad Pitt, the media portrayed her as someone who was just selfish and who cared only about her career, whose husband had left her because she refused to give him kids. Having remarried actor Justin Theroux, speculations about pregnancy resumed, forcing her to publish an opinion piece for the Huffington Post, where she denied the rumors and expressed her displeasure and tiredness with the media's speculation. After her second divorce, Aniston admitted that motherhood had become very frightening during an interview with Elle in 2018. Number 3. Dolly Parton. The American singer, songwriter, actress, and philanthropist admits that when her marriage to her now late husband, Carl Thomas Dean, was still relatively new, she dreamt of having kids together and even went on to pick names. However, fate and nature had other plans in store for her, as she had a budding career, her music, and frequent travels that were more important to her at the time. Moreover, with a diagnosis of endometriosis at age 33, a condition which makes it difficult to get pregnant, she had a hysterectomy at age 36, a period during her middle-aged years that she referred to as dark times in her book, Behind the Scenes, My Life in Rhinestones. She is noted for not regretting her decision not to have children, as she doesn't miss it as she thought she might, especially as she believes that her career wouldn't have thrived as it did if she had had children as she had stayed home and constantly worried herself to death about them. Although not a biological mother, she earned herself the title of fairy godmother, especially with her goddaughter, Miley Cyrus, whom Dolly Parton refers to as successful, smart, intuitive, a spectacular human being, and an amazing talent. Number 2. Kim Catrol. The British and Canadian actress Kim Catrol, known as Samantha Jones, opened up about her attempt at IVF with her third husband, Mark Levinson, a man she married in 1998, the same year as her rise to stardom, a time of her life when she was 40 years old. However, the 19 long, grueling hours she put in every day, with very little time for herself on weekends, made her reconsider her decision, as the procedure would require a lot of commitment, one she couldn't possibly put in at the time. At that point, she decided against going on with the procedure. According to her, it was the first moment in her life when she thought she wouldn't do this. It should be noted that her desire not to want kids was so that she could maintain a work-life balance. However, while biological birthing was out of the question for her, motherhood never was, as she channeled all that love to the young actors and actresses, nieces and nephews, being a mom, auntie, and friend. She strongly expressed her displeasure at being referred to as childless in BBC Radio 4's Woman's Hour. She said it made one feel less, because she didn't have a child. Why place a person's worth on his or her ability to bear life through biological means? Number 1. Oprah Winfrey. Popular television host, actress, and philanthropist, Oprah Winfrey, in 2019, granted an interview with People's Magazine where she discussed her decision to remain unmarried and not have kids, despite her stable relationship with educator Graham Stedman since 1986. Having attested to the fact that the idea had once crossed her mind, she also acknowledged that the thought was fleeting until she saw the depth of responsibility and sacrifice that is required to be a mother during her years on The Oprah Winfrey Show, a responsibility she was not willing to take on. Her realization that there were many dysfunctional people in the world due to the lack of awareness by the two people who decided to bring a human life to the world made her take a stance, as she reiterated that she couldn't compartmentalize the way she saw other women do. Her putting in long shifts of 17 hours made her ponder how stressful her life would have been had she tried to manage a family, her 2 dogs, and her career simultaneously. This made her conclude that they all would have gone their separate ways. She also reiterated that she did not regret the decision not to have children in any way. She also expressed how motherhood and its experience weren't only birthed when an individual biologically carries a child. She talked about how her Leadership Academy for Girls, which she opened in South Africa, 2007 made it easy for her to be a mother. The girls, who refer to her as Mom O, received her approval as, according to her, those girls fill that maternal fold that I perhaps would have had. They overfill. I'm overflowing with maternal. She describes her relationship with the girls as the perfect compromise, as she didn't want babies. She emphatically says, I wouldn't have been a good mom for babies. I don't have the patience. This is so rewarding. Having traversed the path of these women, do you think one's career is enough reason to avoid having kids? Share your thoughts in the comments. Remember to hit the like button and subscribe. Before you go, click on the video displayed on your screen.